Hello, bass family, and welcome to Everything Bass. We're in Creating Jazz Walking Bass Lines Unit 4. Today, the sample tune is Autumn Leaves, but we're just sticking with the A section. Of course, what I'm going to assign to you guys uses the entire chart. There's a lot of ways you can download the chart. The chart I have is in E minor, G major. So anyway, what are we doing today? So if you go through the previous units, we started with just using triads and walking bass lines with confidence, then adding a chromatic to the triads. Then we added the seventh interval and added one more chord tone to see kind of how cool that can be. And at this point, I want to introduce a topic or a method of practice. And it is unique and definitely, you're going to want to probably become a Patreon subscriber so you can check your work against my master key that I'm going to put up. But let's talk about what it is. Well, first of all, why? Why am I teaching you this particular unit? When you're walking bass lines initially, just everyone, it's necessary that we as bass players, we start on the root. So when we have a new chord, in this case, the first chord is A minor. We start in A and we play our bass line. Then the next chord is D7, we play D, we play our bass line. G major, we play G and we play our bass line. And what ends up sounding like this is like doom, 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 boom, doom, doom, doom. So the bass line has a tendency to do this very jerky sawtooth style. Then we listened to Ray Brown and all the legendary jazz forefathers that just were so amazing. And their bass lines flowed like a sine wave. They didn't have these quick drops to the root that always kind of like tied your bass line to like, oh, here it is. Now we're going to do something cool. Oh, here it is. Now we're going to do something cool. So to be able to get that walking jazz feel and that really cool sine wave attitude to your bass playing, we need to kind of force the issue. And that is breaking our dependency to always starting on the root. And there's a couple ways to do this, but the way that worked for me and has worked for most of my students is it's really homework. It actually is. So I like to present it as a game. And every game has rules, and that makes the game fun. So I'm going to be doing this on a 4-string. And if you happen to have a 5-string or 6-string, I encourage you just to use the E, A, D, and G to follow along. Don't go to any of the other strings. We're staying within this limited range here. The lowest note you can play in your bass line is an E, the open E. The highest note you can play in your bass line is the 5th fret C. So our range is the first 5 frets of a 4-string bass that's tuned to standard. So what is the other rules of the game? One is we can start with the root, like in this case, A minor. We're going to start with the root, and we pick a direction. So in this case, we're going to go start on the root A, and we're going to head up in pitch. Now, we're only playing chord tones, and we're playing 4 notes per measure, no fancy rhythms or anything. So we're playing, like in this case, the root, 3, 5, 7. Now, when we get here, we can't turn around. The second rule is you can't change your directions until you hit the limit of your range, like until you get the note that's closest to the C or the C itself. So the next chord is a D7 chord. Now in this case, so the D7 chord has D, F sharp, A, and C. So we just got done playing A, C, E, G. Now instead of starting on the D, we keep going up. We play the A, and we can play the C because that's in the arpeggio. A, F sharp. So we go, starting with the A minor, root, 3, 5, 7. Now we're starting on the 5, 7, 5, 3 of D. Now we didn't play the root, but believe it or not, the audience will get it, and the band will get it, and the song will get it, because we're representing the chord very well. And on our strong beats, well, in this case, we're using only chord tones. So the tonality works. If I just start this loop over and play what I wrote, listen to this. See, it actually blended. And instead of doing this, see, that's very blocky. There's no flow to that. There's no expression really, or there's an expression to it, but it's very simple. But this. All right, now let's pick it up. We've turned around. We're heading down in pitch now. We ended on the F sharp. We're out of notes for the D7. The next chord is a G major 7. Now here's a tricky one. F sharp is in the G major 7, but we don't want to play that. So we want to skip to the next note, which is the D, the fifth of G, to the B, to the root G, to the major 7. Okay, so this sounds like, let me put that in with the other so you can kind of hear it. Now, after that, he goes to a C major 7. We're on the F sharp, which is the major 7 of G. I know I'm going fast, but stick with me. Now, we're on the F sharp, and the E is available because it's in the key, the chord C major 7, C, E, G, B. So we go E, and then we turn around, play the fifth of C major, G, then we play the major 7, B, C. Now I'm throwing a lot at you, but let me just play it, and so you can see how now my bass line is this sine wave. It's just going up to a range. Once I hit my ceiling, I turn around, and I resolve to the nearest chord tone of the new measure. So starting on the A again. Now let's hear it against the backing tracks. I just love it. This really changed how I approach my bass lines, and not just in jazz, by the way, where I didn't feel the dependency to always start the root. And if I found that the third, I could resolve a half step from the chord I'm on, a half step movement to the third of the next chord, it created such great sound and flavor. Of course, this also really helped my improv and my soloing. So your assignment is, and I'll have, for my Patreon subscribers, I will have the full chart, which is not just the A section. We just focus on the A section, not even all of the A section. We just did the first 4 bars, but we got the A section, then the B section, and it goes and repeats the A again at the end. So it's an AABA form. Your assignment is to start, I got you started, start with the open A, or the A. You can play it 5th fret, I don't care. And work your arpeggio up, and here with these rules, and on a 4-string bass, using these rules, on your own, you're going to come up with the same thing I got you. I got you all the way to the C major, which started on the 3rd, the 5, 7, C. Now the next chord is an F sharp minor 7 flat 5, and you're on a C, so you're heading up. So just kind of give you there. I don't want to give it all to you because the value of the lesson would be lost. But I'll have a key on the Patreon, which is I will write out the entire chart. Now it has a first ending, second ending. I'm not going to write 2 alternates. I will. Gosh, that's a good question. I'll figure it out. There'll be a key there. And then with, I'd like to give you a couple more so that you can do it from your own. So that's one written. We used to, my private instructor had me write 7 of these every week. So he'd give me a chart and have me write out 7 times through the chart. Always starting on a different note, heading in a different direction. So on your second chart, start with the high A and head down. Don't go up to the C. Just start here. So your A7 would sound like, and then you'd be heading down, having to address the D7 chord. There's a couple things that I will do for you guys in the support materials, but it's best if you do it on your own. And that is, get out some sheet music, or you can print off manuscript paper. You can buy it on books of manuscript paper on any of the music retailers, Amazon or anything like that. Go to your local music store. Most stores will have blank sheet music. Buy some, use a pencil, and if you don't read music, use the tab then, and just tab it out so you can visually see it. That's going to help. But also, on a separate sheet of paper, look at all the chords you're doing and write out the chord tones. Because if you have them written out, it's actually becomes super simple. You'll have the letters of each chord, and you're heading one direction. You're on this, then you look at the next chord, go, I'm heading up. Well, it's got to be that note. Believe it or not, seeing it written out helps you memorize it. Big time. Big time. So let's just do those 2. Starting on the A, heading up. Starting on the A here, heading down. And, to avoid confusion, let's just do the A section now that I think about it. I was going to have you do the A section, AABA, but that first ending coming back could be a little, so let's just do the A section. So the chords will be A minor 7, D7, G major 7, C major 7, F sharp, half diminished, B7, and 2 measures of E minor, no 7. So yeah, so this is a great exercise. And by the way, you just don't do one chart and you're done. This is something that you should work into, and I'm going to work it into the 7-day Real Book Challenge or workout that I've been giving you guys. But this is absolutely a valuable lesson. Buy yourself a real book. I recommend the base edition real book, and pick a chart every week and write out as many of these. Pick a different and by the way, like in this case, we have an A here and an A here, but you might want to start on the C of A. A minor, the minor third is C, and pick a direction, and all of a sudden, boom, you've got a whole nother exercise. But remember, your baseline should be very smooth. There should be no jumping in it. You can't skip an interval. You've got to play each chord tone in its order. That's also really good for your ear training, so make sure you practice where you can hear the notes you're actually playing. So this is big time. This is a really great exercise. I'm excited to bring it to you guys, but let me know if I missed the mark. Do I need to repeat it? I'll do a part 2 of this, no problem, no questions asked. But let me know where I lost you. Of course, if you don't understand intervals, go back to my series. It was one of the first series I did on this channel a year ago, which was understanding intervals. So go back there and just really get to understand what intervals are. You also might want to go through, there's a playlist called Chords and Arpeggios on my channel, which will go through all the chord types. So when I say half diminished or minor 7 flat 5, you'll know what that is and how it goes. And of course, if you really need help on this and you don't have some of those skills really in, just become a Patreon subscriber. Go to the link in the description below. Find the post that's called Creating Jazz Walking Bass Lines Unit 4. And I usually put Autumn, the name of the chart, so Autumn Leaves. Go there and check it out. And I will write some of the stuff out for you, so it helps. But in the best case is if you write one out, and then you download my version and match it up, you'll see if you did it correctly, because there is only one way it'll work if you follow the rules. If you've lost it, if for some reason you went to a note I didn't go to, double check yourself, figure out, did you skip an interval? Did you change direction when you shouldn't have? Something like that. All right, guys. Wow. This is getting deep. This is what I was really excited for when I started this channel, is to be able to talk about some of these things, which made major impacts in my playing and my professionalism, and helped to give me the career I have now. So give it a shot. I love it. To me, it's fun and relaxing. I still do it. I grab a new chart, I sit down with some manuscript paper, and I just write out chord tonally bass lines following these rules. All right, there you have it. Please like, share, subscribe, do all the things you guys have been doing, which has really helped grow the channel. It creates more possibilities and allows me more financial options to be able to upgrade my capabilities here, which I'm really looking forward to. All right, I will see you at the next video. Comment if you need more help, okay? See you guys.